Sorry, we were just enjoying the nice little fire next to our
Super
fireplace.
cozy, super warm. We got a puppy.
We got a puppy?
Yeah, I mean it's the holiday season, folks.
It is the holiday season.
And holiday season means warm fires, decor, and adorable animals.
Oh, this is a cute puppy, and everyone loves puppies.
Yeah. I'm Natalie. I am the content marketing specialist here at Mailgun.
Hi.
This is Talia.
Oh yeah, this is Talia. I don't want to take time away from her. And I'm Nick. I lead deliverability over here at Mailgun. And today we're gonna not talk about puppies, even though everyone does love puppies. But we're gonna talk about the holidays coming up and how that relates to email, and just really kind of preparing for the holidays to make sure you get your campaigns out to the people that want to receive them, and make sure you aren't running into issues.
Yeah, and get good returns on your ROI with those campaigns.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what
Are we gonna leave Thalia with us the whole time, or Thalia?
No, she might take a break. She might get a little too excited. So if she has to take a little break from this webinar, I hope you guys don't mind. But what's on the agenda for today, Nick?
Yeah, so today we're kind of just going to go over, the big opportunity that email marketers have ahead of them in the coming months. Up to Christmas, you have Thanksgiving, but the big days obviously are Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Mm-hmm. So it's just a really big opportunity. The reason for that is email makes up a good amount of revenue for a lot of companies. It's like Natalie mentioned earlier, great ROI. So couple that with, everyone kind of getting eager, getting into the holiday spirit, wanting to get their holiday shopping started. I know it's already happening at the Schaefer household. My daughter wants a pony.
Yeah.
So if anyone, has any good advice of telling me or how I can tell her that just isn't going to work out in a house, I'm open for the advice.
You make it work, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe.
But yeah, I mean, everyone's kind of excited for the holidays, and again, it's a big opportunity for email marketers. So that's kind of the purpose of today's webinar, is just to make sure everyone is taking the right path to get set up and ready to go.
Yeah, and just so you can kind of give us a more technical perspective, what sort of traffic increases do we see during the holidays?
That's a good question. So yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot more email, and we can see it in the data. I went through and looked the other day at last year holiday season, and on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, there was around a 30 to 40% increase in traffic across Mailgun on just those 2 days alone. Yeah. And you do have those other days. I mean, obviously Black Friday and Cyber Monday are big, but there's other holidays all around, and from the marketing side, I stay on the deliverability. I'm not creative, but I'm sure there's all kinds of other ones. What are we missing out on other than Cyber Monday and Black Friday?
Well, I mean, it is October, right? I mean, we all know this. It's October 3rd.
I can't believe that, by the way. The year's gone right by.
Yeah, so you can always do a really great Halloween campaign, especially with that holiday coming up. You can do something for Thanksgiving. I mean, get creative with it. It doesn't even have to be about big commercial U.S. holidays. It can be really just about anything about this time of year. You could do an autumn campaign, winter campaign, freezing over, lights out, all that good stuff. Even a staycation would be a really good one around this time of year. Yeah. A lot of
I could use
topics.
a staycation. That would be nice.
Couldn't we all?
we really could.
Yeah. So
so are you saying October? My kids really look forward to Halloween, obviously, but I can always tell whenever it's this time of the year, because I'll start to see emails popping up in my inbox saying, oh, watch out for these scary deals or these spooky deals.
These spooky deals.
Spooky deals, yeah. So that's probably going to be coming pretty soon.
I mean, if it hasn't already started happening in your inbox, it will. It's coming for you.
So get ready. Yeah. So again, though, the purpose of this webinar is to make sure your messages are making it to their users. If they're getting filtered as junk, people aren't gonna read them. There's been reports. I think 99% of people these days don't even check their spam folders. So that's why you need to do your part to make sure you are following best practices, doing the needful basically to make sure your messages get delivered to your
Right.
users.
Yeah, and not only on the technical side, but also on the content side, right? So, there are a ton of things that can affect your deliverability on the tech side, which I know you can attest to. But there's
But here you
also
go. She's going into the marketing side. I again
yeah.
over my head. I don't know this kind of stuff.
But even your content, you gotta be putting good content out there. You got to make it appealing in a good way. If you're confused or worried that your content isn't going to be appealing, think about your audience, right? Like, who is on your website? What sort of web traffic are you getting? What demographics can you take a look at? And then look at competitors. Like, what are they doing with their email marketing campaigns, and are they successful? Right? Don't look to all of your competitors as the end all be all, right, of
Mhm.
what your promotion should be. Absolutely not. Kind of take bits and pieces about, how can you put your brand voice into similar content that makes it appealing for the people who are coming to your website. And this also kind of goes hand in hand with list segmentation, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. So, kind of one of the things that I want to kind of speak to is, the list that you're sending to. This isn't the time of the year to be sending to your entire list. This
No.
isn't the time of the year to be running re-engagement campaigns. You want your reputation to be as high as it possibly can with the
Mhm.
mailbox providers. Gmail, obviously, really, really important. It makes up a large portion of a lot of senders'
Yeah.
email lists these days. So, you know, you go in and you have this, awesome, massive list. I know, marketers love to have the biggest list possible, but chances are a lot of those addresses, aren't going to do anything with
Mhm.
messages that you send. Even if you send the best marketing, content,
Right.
the most appealing offers, like everything, people that may not be using those mailboxes obviously aren't going to do anything. So you need to, pay close attention to past actions that users have taken.
Mhm.
Engagement is something that's really good to look at. Opens
Right.
and clicks.
Mhm.
Again, you don't want to send to the whole list. So if you have, stuff like open rates or openers or clickers, target those users.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, this is a great time to really take a look at your email lists and say, okay, well, are we going to be using the email list that we've had since like 2012? It's it's 2018. If you haven't cleaned up that list, like, now's a good time to do it. Like, take out those disengaged users, because
Mhm.
they're only going to bring down your open rates, and they're only going to bring down your click-through rates. So it's really important that you kind of do a little bit of list cleanup. And this also kind of goes hand in hand with also moving into the new year, right? So if you're going to be doing any sort of New Year's promotions or things like that, even looking past just the holiday season, like, the time is now. Like, Q4 is a
Mhm.
great time to look at your email list and say, okay, where can this be cleaned up? How can we clean it up? And segmenting it in a variety of ways. So, like, just a really good example of this would be taking a look at, are the people on your website who are also on your email list, are they high dollar spenders? So do they buy one item that's really expensive, or do they buy a ton of smaller items at a lower price tag? Those are really important things to think about. And then curate your content around your audience. This would be a great chance to say, go to that buyer who buys the big ticket items and go, here's a coupon code for 20% off a cart of $100 or more. And really, you can just change the wording on that a little bit, and you can send that to both of those audiences, but just kind of tweak it just a little bit
Mhm.
to get at the items that they really do care for. uh,
I hear a lot about like
yeah.
A/B tests and stuff like
Hmm.
that. That's probably really
Yes.
something that's helpful for marketers.
Yes, especially here at Mailgun, like, that's the perfect thing to be tagging and paying attention to, because if you don't start doing your due diligence now, you're not going to be able to have insightful analytics later. And that will only help you improve your themes and your campaigns and your strategies moving into Q1. So these are the things that are important to really just sort of keep an eye on. Yeah. So
Yeah.
tag now, and even, like, it doesn't even have to be tagged for your audience. It can be tagged for your campaigns. So if you're thinking about doing a new email campaign that's totally different from what you did last year, tag it. Like,
Yep.
see what works, and then compare it to what you did last year. So then that way you can kind of have a running knowledge of what's really speaking to your audience and what isn't. And of course, the other thing that goes hand in hand with all of this is cart abandonment campaigns.
Oh yeah.
If someone puts something in their cart and they leave it, don't ignore them, but also don't be too eager to make that sell.
So like an hour after I decided
No,
not to purchase something, you shouldn't, send an email to me, or
no,
4 hours and 8 hours later and just kind of
no,
be
no,
that
no.
annoying company that's trying to get me to buy something.
Absolutely not. So, a couple of things to keep in mind, right, is the rule of three. This would be great to just kind of send three reminders, but also give them some room to breathe. Like, play hard to get a little bit. Maybe after that first day, you kind of give them a little nudge, say, hey, saw that you left this in your cart. Do you want to buy it? And then maybe give it 3 to 4 days after that if they still haven't bought it. Vary up your copy, vary up the content, the copy, obviously. So it's just kind of like, hey, still, checking in, wanted to see if you still want it. And then usually by the second round, if you haven't already, maybe offer them a little bit of incentive. And then by the third time, make that your final call. By no means be like, how dare you not buy this?
Yeah.
But just say, even if you want to up the ante on that offer, rule of three is a great rule of thumb for that. And don't run a cart abandonment campaign past like 7 days, because at that point they might not even remember that they put it in their cart.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that she mentioned was, the tagging stuff with Mailgun. That's really something that can help give you insight into messages. Um, you know, she also mentioned, start now. Maybe you don't have all this data that would be helpful. Like I said, target your engaged users. That's what our tags and analytics feature is really for. Add tags to messages. We'll break down and give you data about how your campaign's doing. We'll show you the people that are opening, but not only that, opening and clicking, but we'll also break it down by like mailbox provider. This is helpful because say you're getting a really good open rate with Gmail and Yahoo, but Microsoft you have a low open rate. This will help you kind of see that in action, so then you can then make adjustments. Maybe tighten in your engagement time frame that you're sending to Microsoft users to try to bump up reputation.
Right.
So it's always a good time to start now, even if you haven't been doing the tagging feature previously. Get started now.
Yeah, like, and that kind of goes really for any sort of holiday prep. Like, if you haven't started now, start it now. It'd be great to start yesterday, but if you can, absolutely start now. And that's that goes outside, like even just tagging. For better analytics, there are other things you can do, like validating your list. Like Mailgun has a really great validation tool that can let you know if the emails that you have in your list are legit. Are they real? Are they Yoohoo, or are they Jamal? Like, you want to send a Gmail and Yahoo.
Yeah, one of my favorites. I always get a kick out of this one. I don't know why, but like Hitmail.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, like I see all kinds of bad email addresses, but they aren't really like bad email addresses. They're clear. Bad. They're clear typos. People just making a fat finger mistake. Whenever they're signing up. So she mentioned email validation. It's good for cleaning your list. After the fact, but something that's really helpful is using that email validation API, integrating it into your forms and capturing,
like do it as you go.
Capturing the email address whenever someone's signing up. We have built-in logic. It detects typos. If that happens, you can have a little tooltip that pops up on your form that says, did you mean? That helps reduce the number of typos and bad addresses that get into your list.
Yeah, and that makes cleaning your list later a whole lot easier.
Much easier, because I see legitimate businesses every day sending messages to these types of addresses. So it's not just like one particular type of customer has problems with this. It's across the board. I mean, people make mistakes. And our email validation API will help maybe malicious people trying to put in fake email addresses.
Oh yeah,
that happens. That happens as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, gosh, there are so many things that you can start now to just like make everything easier for you. Like, if you haven't already, separating like your transactional emails from your marketing emails will do you wonders. And that's more of a technical thing that I know you can speak to, but it helps.
So I mean, much. Marketing messages are great, right? You send out great promotions. Unfortunately, they are also more prone to complaints. Complaints are like the number one thing that can impact your reputation. So you want to make sure that you don't let these marketing type messages affect transactional messages. And whenever I say transactional, I'm talking about things like, confirmation messages whenever you sign up, password resets, things like that. Those are really important messages that you can't afford getting filtered to the spam folder. Keep the mail stream separate. With Mailgun, you can set up different subdomains. You can even get different IPs set up for both. So It's something that I always recommend. So thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like the other important thing to think about it in separating those two streams from a marketing standpoint is having them separated like that allows users to be able to window shop, but also get that receipt as they walk out the door is a good way to think about it. They're not going to miss anything, right? If you keep them separate, if they really want to see your marketing emails, they're going to, but also your transactional emails that you're sending to them aren't going to get lost in the big wide email
Yeah.
world, so to speak, or get blocked or anything like that. Are there any other technical things that you can think of that would be really great to help with marketing campaigns or even just transactional emails in general?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few tips that I think could be helpful this time of the year. Some people only do marketing messages during the holidays, and that's
Mm-hmm.
completely fine. But since last year, maybe things have changed. Take a look at your DNS. I was just looking at an account the other day that their SPF record had changed since the last time they
Oh,
used Mailgun for sending out messages.
right.
There were too many lookups.
Mm.
SPF only allows for 10 lookups, and this customer had more than that.
Oh,
So
no.
if they were to go out with a big marketing campaign, they would see a lot of failures because of
Mm.
mailbox providers having issues looking up SPF records. Uh, take a look at Decom, and DMARC is something that is gaining a lot of traction. So I always kind of recommend our customers to get that set up. At least look into it. You don't have to set any kind of reject policy or anything, but just
Yeah.
it helps for monitoring things. Who knows? Maybe your company is being phished. So
Oh.
just like we were talking about,
Everyone's
it's
worst fear.
better. Yeah, it's better late than never. So let's get that set up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And something else, we touched on it obviously with the email validation, and you know, I don't want our customers to send to like these lists from like 10 years ago.
Right.
But say
Yeah,
you
don't
do
do
have
that.
say you do have a big list,
Mhm.
and you just can't get the people above you to buy into sending to a smaller subset. At least run that list through a validation service. Use our validation service. That's what it's there for. It
Right.
will help some. Again, my best recommendation is to target those engaged users. Have a smaller segmented list.
Mhm.
Really helps to boost your reputation. Something else that will help, especially right now, is run some smaller campaigns leading up to
Right.
leading up to the bigger campaigns. So
Yeah.
so do some sneak peeks targeted to your best user base.
Yeah, sneak peek campaigns when done right are amazing, right? And it can even be something as simple as like if you have a new product that you are about to unveil for the holiday season, like just a really good shot of that product, not even of the whole thing, but just again a sneak peek.
Mm-hmm.
Just have coming soon, like really get them excited, really entice them. You don't
Yep.
even need a coupon code at that point. Like just really get people amped about what you're about to offer them this holiday season. It will do wonders. I promise you.
Yeah,
It'll be great.
absolutely. And like I said, it will get things ready. Like mailbox
Hmm.
providers are always trying to gauge senders. They're always trying to understand what a particular sender is doing. So if you start with some smaller campaigns, you're basically telling them, hey, we're good senders, and they'll be ready to take on more volume once the holidays come around.
Right. Yeah. And like aside from, the marketing content and building it out, if any of the more technical aspects of email sending just is way too much for you, because sometimes it can be really overwhelming. Our managed services is an incredible service. You basically get to talk to someone like Nick
Yeah.
anytime, super knowledgeable about all things deliverability. They can help you with blacklists, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Our TAM team is absolutely wonderful. I came up through the account management team and now kind of focused on deliverability. But yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff may sound kind of intimidating. So
Mhm.
if it does, don't hesitate to reach out. See
Right.
if we can. We'll be happy to help out. One other small tip. I touched on it earlier. Google makes up, or Gmail makes up, a large portion of a lot of people's lists. If you don't have Google Postmaster tools set up yet,
Oh yeah.
get it set up. You want to see what Google thinks of you.
Mhm.
So you can set up your domain in their Postmaster tools. Should be pretty easy to find. Just Google Postmaster tools, and
And
you
get set up right.
get set up. It'll show you what your domain reputation and IP reputation looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, might as well if they're going to go ahead and tell you, what they think. I mean, run with it. Like, use that resource, even though it might be a little intimidating or scary when signing up for it.
What would you say? Actually, one other thing. Sorry. Personalization. Would you recommend sending like the same message to like all of your users? Yeah, right?
No. If you've never gotten into personalization tokens, now is the time. They are super easy to set up, right? And it doesn't have to be elaborate, right? Like, you don't need to have title, first name, last name, like something as much as, just a first name personalization token. Because I know I'm way more likely to read an email if it's just like, hey, Natalie, how's it going? We got a couple offers for you.
It's more personable.
Instead of it being like, hi, we have this marketing message for you. Like, no. That's a little too robotic. I'm not a big fan of it personally. And I know, just as a marketer, that's not what I would want to send out. I would want something that's a little bit more personalized. Even as far as the buyer profile, right? Like, if they can pinpoint the sort of objects that I'm going to buy in my price range, going to look at that way faster than I am something that's either, way up there that I don't want to spend money on. So those are things to think about. But I feel like we've talked a lot about a ton of content and technical stuff for the holidays. So we're going to take a look at a couple of your questions.
Yeah,
and see
it sounds like y'all been actively putting questions in. So let's take a look at a couple.
Let's see. So Carol is asking, where can I find examples of content and copy for email sequences for an upcoming promotion? So actual content guidelines can be a little hard to come by because a lot of companies keep them really close to the chest, right? Kind of like poker. Hopefully, Mailgun is actually working on a really great content guide coming up for marketing messages. But I would hate to tell you that we don't have something, but a really great thing that I personally do, and I know a lot of marketers do, is they look at the brands that they idolize, right? Not only with brand voice, but the content that they're putting out, things that they really admire, even their social media. Like, take a look at what they're putting out. And if you can, like, see if you can go back and find any of their past holiday marketing material, and take a look at different campaigns that they might have done, and see if you can or can't emulate that.
Yeah,
and
that's a good idea.
Yeah, and also take do a little bit of social media listening. That's a really great thing to do. And what I mean by that is looking at the hashtags that your audience is on. If you don't have a social media management tool, you can even do this natively. Look at the hashtags that even you just use in the content that you're putting out there on social media.
Yeah.
You can kind of get an idea for where people are interested in talking about in the here and now, where your brand would want to be.
Someone just asked, are they drinking Topo Chico?
We are.
Such a cult following. Everyone loves Topo Chico, right?
Yeah, I love Topo. Let's see.
It's the best.
Let's see. So Douglas D is asking, what are the hard statistics on the abandoned cart re-engagement rule of 3? So the hard statistics would be, right, if you do too soon of messaging, right, and this can be a little bit hard because I don't have the hard statistics up in front of me right now, but I do know that the more that you sort of spam, like the higher frequency, the more likely, and you can speak to this, the more likely they're going to unsubscribe or mark as spam. Is that correct?
Well, chances are most people are quick to mark spam.
Right.
A lot of people don't like to use unsubscribe for whatever reason. A lot of people will complain instead of unsubscribing. So, your goal as a marketer or just a sender in general is to keep your customers happy. Don't do anything that, even gives them a chance to become a little upset.
Yeah.
So.
And also, speaking to the hard statistics, like, even though I don't have them in front of me right now, we are going to take a look after the webinar. And if we can find them, we will shoot them over to you. You want to take this one?
Yeah. Looks like the next question we got is, what should I do if I get blacklist detected emails? I'm going to assume that you're talking about just if your IP gets blacklisted in general. I hope that's the case. So sorry if it's not. But yeah, I mean, if you happen to see, like, if you're monitoring your IPs, which is always a good practice, and you see one of your IPs becomes blacklisted, first you should, check things on your end. Blacklists generally happen because something, happened with your mail stream. Now, it's a little different shared IP versus dedicated IP. If you're on your own dedicated IP and you're getting blacklisted, you need to, take a look at maybe Your sign up forms, maybe there's a vulnerability there and someone's, putting in random addresses and spamming out. There's even mail bombing that happens where, unprotected sign up forms kind of get blasted with a ridiculous amount of emails. So that could cause blacklist. So just kind of take a look at everything you're doing. I always recommend doing confirmed opt-in just to make sure you're getting good addresses.
Right.
And if you've gone through everything and everything's in line and blacklist shouldn't reoccur, then go ahead and put a delist request in. And as always, if you need help, just reach out to us. We'll be happy to help.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see about this next one. From Patrick, we have, how do you avoid high complaint percentage rates when your email list is smaller for your campaign? If you're emailing to just 500 people, just a few complaints are enough to give you a high complaint percentage.
Well, yeah, that is absolutely true. But the important part here is that smaller list is a finely targeted list of people that have shown, in the past to really want to receive your messages. The reality is that if you're sending messages to people that don't want them, yeah, you're always going to be open to the possibility of people complaining against your message.
Right.
So the real key there is, understanding your users, setting proper expectations whenever someone signs up and joins like your newsletter or asks for promotional emails. Just make sure you're getting everything, you can about that customer. And again, capturing valid email addresses and making sure the person that signed up is actually them. So confirmed opt-in will help you there.
Right. Yeah. And I was actually just working on some content today, just looking at how to kind of avoid that and what the best steps are, even before they're already on your email list, is have a really concise, clear sign up. And whether that be for an email newsletter or they're signing up to talk to you about a service that you might offer them, be as clear and concise as possible, but also be engaging. That way they know what they're signing up for. They're excited to sign up for it. And with double opt-in, you know that they want to be on that list. Like, they've given you consent twice. So as long as you get that consent and you are upfront with your messaging, you are less likely to have, an unhappy recipient.
Yeah. And don't be tempted. I know, the holidays, you want to get your promotions out to as many people as possible, but don't be tempted into, again, sending to the older lists. But not just that, don't be tempted into like purchasing lists. I mean,
don't buy a list.
That will get you blacklist right away because those are littered with, spam traps. So, it doesn't really matter the size of your list as long as it is targeted and you're sending to people that really want to receive those messages. That's really the key.
See, does Mailgun have a tool for designing emails? We have partners that do. We have several different partners like Engage who do have really great software to help build out a marketing campaign. And you can find them on our website actually. But we have a few. So you can kind of shop around just sort of on our partner page alone. They are, Engage is a great one. That I would recommend. So just kind of take a look around. While Mailgun, personally, we don't have one because we are API for developers. We love to work with, email marketing campaign designers.
Work with third parties that do the front end, design the messages, and then use Mailgun as the back end. I know we've done like blog posts in the past where we've actually showed some of the templates that we've used. So maybe that helps, maybe not. But I thought I'd mention that. Yeah, we don't have like a template builder in app where you can, design your message. But as Natalie mentioned, really good front end services that kind of integrate with Mailgun.
Yeah. And then let's see. Will this event be recorded for people who cannot attend or live in other half of the earth? Yes.
and are thus probably sleeping right now.
Yeah, they're probably asleep, but don't worry, they'll be able to watch this later.
Yeah, and if you want to, rewatch,
share it around,
share the video or rewatch it because you wanted to see that cute puppy at the beginning.
Yeah, I'd say no one wanted to miss Talia. She was so cute.
Yeah, I kind of want that puppy to come back.
Yeah, we can find her after 11 hours. Okay. She's off taking a little puppy nap. Let's see. Do we have any other questions?
Any other questions?
You got us right here. No.
I'm sorry.
Yes?
Sorry if
no?
I look like I'm just like kind of looking out into space. I'm looking at the screen at where the questions were.
It's not even that. We just have a portal in which you're able to receive questions.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if there are no new questions, then I think
Is that it? We can enjoy our like fire.
Yeah, I hope you guys don't mind. We're gonna go back to this fire.
Yeah.
But you guys have an amazing day or night, depending on where you are. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to get at us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Y'all have a good one.
See ya. So cozy. I love it.